Agent Green, let me ask you if this is State's Exhibit 27. Is there a serial number on this gun?
Yes, sir, there was.
And what is the purpose of having a serial number on a gun?
A serial number placed on a firearm is a unique identifying mark on a firearm. This firearm, which is Exhibit 27, had the serial number on the frame, on the slide, and on the barrel. They all three matched.
Okay.
When
And if I know the serial number, will that help me identify the manufacturer of the weapon?
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
Serial numbers, while serial numbers are unique, Springfield will only make one firearm in this series with this serial number. A Glock or some other manufacturer may have a serial number like this.
Okay. Would it also help me determine who purchased that weapon when it was purchased from whatever the manufacturing company is?
Yes, sir. When I purchased a firearm last week, when you purchase a firearm, the company that you purchase it from will record all of your information, or all of my information, and along with the serial number. So once I buy that firearm and I walk out the door, that information is provided to federal law enforcement, so they know that James Green bought this firearm, and that serial number is attributed to me as the original purchaser.
Okay. Now, is that the law? I mean, is that required by manufacturers when a gun is sold, that serial number be logged and recorded so that it can be traced later?
Well, prior to the Gun Control Act of 1968, firearms were not required to have serial numbers on them. Now they are.
Okay.
But I don't know if the manufacturer themselves keeps track of the serial numbers and who they're sold to. I do know that federal law enforcement does.
Okay. In fact, when you purchase a firearm from a dealer, you would have to go fill out some papers. Those papers would be submitted with the purchaser's name and address and phone number, that kind of thing, and then that information is logged into your federal system so that that gun can be traced to the owner.
Well, not my federal system, but
Well,
yes,
our federal
it is logged in the system, yes.
Okay. Now, so tell me who owns that gun and when that gun was purchased.
I don't know. That's not part of my job description at SLED. I only do the forensic aspect. I don't do firearm tracing.
All right, so you don't know when the gun was purchased.
No, sir, that's not my job description.
You don't know who purchased it.
No, sir.
All right. Do you know when it was thrown in the woods?
I don't know where it came from. All I know is I had a firearm submitted to me.
Do you know who threw it in the woods?
No, sir.
Let's talk about the condition of the gun. When you got the gun, you said that the gun was rusted, right?
Yes, sir. The gun was not in working order when I received it.
All right. Do you know, is there a way for you to tell us how long that gun had not been in working order?
No, sir.
Now, as I understand it, you also say that when you tried to improvise, for lack of a better word, by changing the slide on the gun, taking it off, and then putting another slide on it, and then firing bullets from the improvised weapon, that your testing was inconclusive?
Yes, sir.
And inconclusive means that we can't say that the bullet came from that particular gun.
Yes, sir.
So what you're telling us is that we don't know that the bullets that the solicitor showed you, here they are, which is Exhibit 51. All right. Those are the bullets that were submitted to you?
Are you referring to fired?
Unfired. The
Unfired, yes. These are the ones that were submitted to me, yes.
All right. And did he also submit to you some fired shell casings?
Yes, sir.
All right. I apologize, Your Honor, I'm looking for Exhibit 24.
Take your time.
Let me show you what's marked now. It states Exhibit number 24. Take a look at that for me, if you would, please. Now, 24 would be the unfired shell casings that you received and projectiles.
24 is the fired cartridge cases I received.
All right. And now, you said that, I think if I'm not mistaken, that those were Underwood brand?
Yes, sir.
All right. And just let me ask you, the Underwood brand, do you know how long that brand has been in existence? Did you make any determination as to that?
I think they've been around since 2004, 2005.
Okay. And do you know how many millions of bullets there are out there that are under that brand?
No, sir, I don't. I can imagine 20 years is probably a fairly large amount.
All right. Now, were you able to make a determination as to whether or not those fired cartridges, or those fired shell casings, I guess is a better word, that they came from exhibit number
29.
29?
No, sir, I was not.
Would not. So what you're telling us is that we don't know that any of the bullets, either the fired shell casings or the unfired ones, were fired by that particular weapon.
Correct. As far as the fired cartridge cases go, since I was unable to get test cartridge cases fired by the SLED, I don't know if they were fired by that gun or not.
All right. In regards to this particular weapon, number, I keep forgetting the exhibit number here, 29, which is the gun. How many other weapons, how many other 9mm weapons would be consistent or could be consistent with having fired these particular cartridges?
On the general rifling characteristics list that I provided, or the GRC list that I provided, there were 71 different manufacturers or origins of firearms that have similar rifling characteristics. And that's just the number of lands and grooves, direction of twist, and caliber, and the widths of those lands and grooves as the evidence bullets I examined.
So 71 other guns would be capable of having fired these particular shell casings,
Bullets.
bullets.
Yes, sir. 71,
Shell, not shell.
71 manufacturers were on the list. However, like I said, it's not all inclusive, so there may be more.
So it could be even more than the 71.
Correct.
All right. Prior to these shell casings coming to your department, did they go to any other department in SLED for testing of any type before they came to you? For instance, like whoever does latent prints.
I'm looking right now. Hang on one second for me. Yes, sir. The cartridge cases, which were SLED items 12 through 15, all had a firearms and a latent print assignment on them.
All right. And latent prints would mean that somebody tested them to see if somebody's fingerprints were on those shell casings, right?
Yes, sir. If there's a latent request on them, that's what they will try to see if there are marks or not.
All right. And do you know whether or not there were any latent prints found on any of these shell casings?
No, sir, I do not.
You do not know? All right. All right. And if, just knowing how SLED works, if there were, would they send a report back to the solicitor on that?
If it's like our department, when we get any type of conclusion, a report is rendered.
Okay. But even if you find nothing, you'll report that back too, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Now, one last. I understood you to say that the cartridge, according to the manufacturer, the magazine could hold 19 bullets?
Yes, sir.
19
It was marked
live
as
rounds?
19, yes, sir.
All right, and then one would be, you could also put one in the chamber, so a total of 20?
Yes, sir.
But then when you actually did or attempted to fill the magazine, you could only put in 17?
Correct.
All right. Now, do we have any way of knowing how many bullets, live rounds, were in that magazine prior to it being jammed? Do we have any way of knowing that?
No, sir, I don't.
All right. Okay. How many live rounds, if any, did you take out of the magazine?
I did not take any out. They were out of the magazine when I received them.
Okay. So when you got the magazine, that magazine was empty.
Correct.
All right. Now, was that the correct magazine that would normally come with a Springfield Luger weapon?
Yes, sir. The magazine, the floor plate was marked Springfield, so it was the correct magazine for use.
Okay. All right. Now, would a different kind of magazine work in that same gun?
Yes, sir. There are some aftermarket companies that make aftermarket products. Some of them are magazines that fit in different brands of firearms.
Okay. Is there any way to tell whether or not the magazine that was in that gun was the magazine that was purchased in that gun?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions.
You ready to wrap?
Gentlemen,
Yes, Your
just
Honor.
step back.
Sir.
May we approach? Matter of office, super quick.
All right. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Green, you're excused and free to leave. Welcome to
I
stage.
apologize, Judge. Can I have a couple redirect questions with him?
Well, I thought you had indicated you did not have any redirect, but you recognize you're
I
entitled
apologize.
to
I just
that.
want to define the scope of redirect. I apologize.
Very good.
Let's talk about serial number tracing, ATF, federal regulations for a second, if you understand. Mr. Wilson mentioned that. I think you indicated the Gun Control Act of 68, where the federal regulations determine the initial purchaser. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, excuse me, yes, sir.
In your training experience, do you understand what a private sale or a private purchaser is?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
A private purchase or a private sale is virtually non-regulated. You don't have to keep track of who you sell anything to. Once the initial purchaser is tracked, it's not tracked after that.
So I think you indicated on your direct testimony that you had recently just purchased a firearm,
Yes, sir.
and the federal firearms dealer was required to collect that serial number from the initial purchaser, you?
Yes, sir.
So in that situation, if you sold it to a fellow law enforcement colleague or to somebody else, is there any requirement that that transaction, that stream of commerce transactions reported, that serial number is reported in any way?
No, sir, it's not.
Okay. So there's no document to look up to find who the subsequent purchasers after the initial purchaser are, isn't that right?
Correct. I do. If I sell something, I keep track of it in case something happens later on. I can say, nope, I sold it on this date to this person, but the average person does not. There's no need to.
I have no further questions.
All right, you may step down and you're free to leave. Welcome to stage, you're free to leave.